I'm Margaret Ann Windsor. I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41. I was born in 39 and brought to the United States, Moulton, Alabama, and dropped off in what amounted to a pigsty, a hellhole. I was given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, and Childers was a married name. And both twins were dead, so my identity was stolen, and I grew up in those conditions. And in 83, after I'd written a medical malpractice book, tried to get it published, but instead I had antifreeze put in me, April Fool Day of 80, because after all, this whole thing's been April Fool, that the United States could first steal the United States from the crown, make King George out to be the bad person, then continue its war against Great Britain. It was never enough. It's never going to be. It's global. They've conquered the world now, the Illuminati, the United States, and with the help of, I'm sad to say, illegal George VI and Elizabeth. George VI, my uncle, was work for the United States. There's no other, what money and power will do, right? Lies and 99 years still took down my father. That's his brother, and he's my uncle. Took me down, helped kidnap me. How's about that? I'm Victoria II, the legal heir, and this is Roosevelt, who also appointed Kennedy, Joe Kennedy, JFK's father, as ambassador to Great Britain and to England, and they really took a stand, didn't they? When Elizabeth's father signed illegal treaties to allow the United States to put military bases all over Great Britain, British soil, and thus it used it as a launching pad. We're hostages, and I have to believe in the beginning, at least, I know that NATO nations were formed like a protection racket. The nations back then were really hostages, the first ones. I know they were. But as it continued and it grew, and then you've got the UN, it's out of Rockefeller up in New York City. My God, the Rockefellers helped kidnap me, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Americans. Wallace Simpson was an American spy who was used to marry a double. This is not my father, so they abdicated. This all happened. 99 years still on it. Take down to my father, kidnapping of me, born 39, kidnapped in 41. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Windsor, legal. This is George O'Keefe, my aunt, the artist. My mom was born in Madison or Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. And was Irish Catholic. What I wanted, and this is Elizabeth, who instead of trying to right a horrible wrong, has continued to commit the wrong. This is the act that changed the world, all of it. Take down to my father and me, and the media will not publish anything. And the UK and Britain, what's left of us, are hostages, really. Now then, when I say what's left of us, you know, not just the 99-year seal should be a signal to the rest of the world. If they can do that back then, place that on my father, and continue with the lies. And by the way, I didn't find out my real name till 83. And I have continued to tell about the mind control murders, programming. Here's what happens to you when you tell the truth. But anyway, he's exiled. Well, I'm a hostage here, kidnapped, but he tried to tell you about what's really going on, national security involved. The whole thing is global now. You have a president, Obama, who's part of the New World Order. Elizabeth and Charles are. What I wanted to try to get on here now, I think I showed the picture of my father, the real King Edward VIII. Had me stolen, his identity stolen, my God, and the lies in his own country stolen from him. The people that remain faithful were the British citizens and Germans. My German family and Germans, and some in America, and of course the O'Keeffes. I wrote the book, and here's what I wanted to get in, because I didn't just start telling this yesterday. I've been telling it since I worked for doctors, since starting the book, and really before then. I just didn't know the technology used, that it was mind control. I knew that murders and deaths were being done in patterns, and Warren and Rosina Matthews were pathologists at Larry McDonald's hospital. He was U.S. Congressman, and his plane went down to KAL August the 31st of 83. And I'd written about him and mind control and murders. Again, mind control, what you can do with it, modify behavior, program people to go out and kill, whether it's mass or one or two. And you can make suicides or cancer. It's really a weapon that's invisible. And they can say that, well, cancer, everybody can get cancer. I would like to insert this here, though. Does anybody stop and think that I'm telling the truth and it can be proven? It's from the Tesla files that were stolen in about 1930. With all the technology, all the money over the years, and not just Jerry Lewis, look what's going on now. The campaign on on everything. Where has all that money gone? What has it accomplished? You would not, well, I don't know. I'm getting to that right now. Yeah, I do know. It's accomplished nothing. The colleges get grants that they need to work on curing diseases and et cetera, and here you go to the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, which I wrote about. They're not finding cures. They're finding, if you walk into a hospital, you'll see all of this equipment there. That's where it's all gone. Not to, what would they do if the world, first you got to get it on the TV and the media to print it, that there's always been a cure. They're not going to have that. Your drugs, your pharmacies, all of it. Stop and think about it. What goes into a hospital in the medical profession and all of it. They're not in the business to cure diseases. And I wrote about the Center for Disease Control. And by the way, Dr. Robicher, who was head of psychiatry and law at Emory University. Now, Emory and CDC has just come into play when they brought the doctors who went to Africa to help. Well, if you consider that this country started it, and then they go in pretending to be the good guys and curing it, really, they went in to take over Africa, and they've done that, the Illuminati and the Americans. They started, orchestrated, and then go in and pretend to be the good guy. And right at the moment, I don't know if ISIS, if they're programmed, some of them, I'm sure some of them probably are. But now then, they've made the world so afraid that, it gets into people start doing anything to get protection. The Brits now and some Americans, troops have been sent to fight ISIS. But the Brits being sent to Africa to contain Ebola, well, the United States started it. And I wanted to go, and AIDS. I put this all this time, so I didn't just start telling this. But I thought I did. One thing I wanted to get in here real quick was if somebody would care, you say Britain's your friend or the UK, look and see how many colonies we have left. There's 16. When they kidnapped me and took down my dad and the United States took control, territories, colonies, all these new treaties came about. The United States controls it all. The Marshall Plan. Oh, by the way, the Marshall Islands, if you care to check that out, what's really going on there. So really everything belongs to the United States since they kidnapped me in 41. I was born 39, so that's when it all started. Now then, I wanted to go back to the Center for